But like I said afterwards, it was a very, very disappointing day for us. When we play like we're capable or close to it, we're pretty good. And if we don't, then things can get out of hand. And I think that's what we saw. I think talking to the team last night, in a 7-day span, we saw close to two extremes. You see a team that is really mind, body, spirit engaged, and not doing everything right or perfect by any means. But as a team, we played pretty well and felt good overall about many of the things that we had done down in Baton Rouge. And 7 days later, we come home, and we saw the other extreme. It was one of our, as an entire program, one of our worst days. The lesson learned is that we're capable of both. We're not good enough to just to show up and not be completely ready to go, and so that's the the biggest thing that we take as a program out of the game on Saturday.
All right, Coach. Obviously, this is Brogan's homecoming game back to Toledo. How do you prep his mindset going into it?
I haven't talked to him about that. We've got a number of guys from Ohio. I know he's from Toledo. Again, I haven't had that conversation with him. I know that he'll be, really excited going back. I guess his freshman year, he would have done that as well. I need to do that. Need to talk to him about that.
And then you said you'd evaluate Reggie roughly 6 weeks. It's getting to that point. Do you have any updates on him?
Yeah, so he has been cleared, and so obviously has not taken a snap in a game since the third quarter of the first week. It's been 5.5 weeks or so, but both of those guys are going to be practicing and preparing, this week.
So will he be active for Saturday?
Yes.
Okay. And so now, obviously, this is the second ranked team you guys have faced in 3 weeks. What type of challenges did that create, and how do you pull off the upset?
Yeah, they are. They're really good. I mean, they deserve that ranking. However, people decide those things. I just know that they're a really good team. And, I'll tell you that our guys seem to be excited about those games and those challenges. Obviously, we're putting plans together for Toledo, but it's such an internal and intrinsic challenge, for us. It is truly about us being right and us being at our best. Now, another team, how good they are and whatnot can help bring that out, we've only had 2 road games, and we've, played pretty well, on the road. And our guys, going away for only 45 minutes this time. But, it's a program that's been the class of our conference and are obviously playing really, really at a high level right now. But regardless, it's just about our guys, playing at a high level. That truly is what it's about.
Toledo's 5-0, and they have wins against Arkansas and Iowa State. Do you tell the team maybe ignore that at all, or do you just keep it out there like, yeah, this is a good team? Just how do you keep them focused for this game?
Well, those things help it. That helps the focus. I mean, like I said, our guys against good competition are not like afraid or don't want to play those games. It helps. In some ways, in a negative way. It's so. Every game they've got to be that engaged. By no means are we overlooking Akron. That's not the case. But we still did not have the preparation or the Saturday juice that we had the week before. So no, we don't ignore anything with our guys. We have cut-ups of all of their games, and it's really less about how they played against these different people, but offensively, defensively, special teams, we're getting cut-ups of different formations, what they do offensively, the different sets and fronts and secondary coverages that they'll do defensively, and we study those, and they're studied as a group. All the different teams that they've played. So no, that's not something that we ignore.
You mentioned Saturday that last week you had a couple bad
Yeah, I mean, everything that we do is a learning experience. And I think our guys, it's not that they didn't understand that practice mattered. I mean, we've been talking about that a lot. We are a much better practice team this year than we were last year. Much, hands down. I know there's a lot of things that people, don't and can't see about steps forward that we're taking as a program. Practice is one of them. Such to the degree that, since it was Wednesday, it wasn't a couple, it was Wednesday was a bad practice for us. I mean, we had a team meeting called the next day because of it. It wasn't something that we were going to let slip and whatnot. And our guys responded. I mean, we played well on Thursday. But I think that the lesson overall learned is that it's not okay to take any days off. And again, I don't think that guys just came in and said, we're going to take today off. But you get a number of people that just aren't locked in sync, and things can go, can go in the direction you don't want them to go. And it's really a focus and an intensity. It's not guys walking off the field or talking back. That stuff's gone. It's a matter of just really being locked in and being intense. And so yeah, we had a bad practice, and we can't, and we don't want. Our guys don't want to. Our guys care. It's the other thing. I mean, our guys care. They don't want to have bad practice. They want to be great. And so I think the steps, we've talked a lot about it, and we've proved to them. I mean, there's some things that happened, miscues in practice showed up in the game. I mean, our guys understand that. We're not fighting our team. It's the exciting thing that people, may not be able to see, is that we're all in this, and we know we're better. We know we're getting better. And so we're talking about some details and stuff. Some small kind of championship caliber things that we still need to work on and get better. But still building.
You mentioned Reggie's active. Will he see the field at all this week, or will that depend on practice?
Yeah, I mean, we're planning on it, but we're going to get him in there in practice. And he's been able to practice some, without a helmet. There's some things that he's been able to do. So he's not going to be going from, completely dormant to, practicing full go all of a sudden. He's been able to, it's been a jaw injury. So, I mean, his legs have been healthy, and he's been able to throw. He just hasn't been able to wear a helmet and has not been able to be in contact. So, this week in practice, I mean, we've progressed as an offense. I mean, coaches talked about that. And so it's hard when you're not playing to keep up with that. And this week in practice is we'll see, how well he's done with keeping up on how well we're doing. But he'll be practicing.
Coach DeBoer, talk about the team just scramble out of the pocket a little too early a couple times. That may have affected his footwork a little bit. Just talk us through that.
No, you're right. I think, we talked as a staff offensively, and it's so critical for any quarterback, those early snaps and the protection that he gets. I don't care who the quarterback is, and if the protection is really good early on, that quarterback gains confidence and feels good about keeping the eyes downfield and going through the reads. And again, like I said, I don't care who the quarterback is. That's a big deal. And we had just a little bit of penetration early on, and I think that was kind of in the back of his mind. You're right, though. He was a little bit more just interested in getting out of the pocket quicker than normal.
Being down 14, multiple times, how much did that affect play calling?
Well, I think I've tried to, as much as any game I think ever, tried to really make sure we continue to play our game, especially through the first probably 3 quarters, and just try to be who we are. I think sometimes when you're down, you try to get pass happy, and I've done that over the years, at times, and just understanding who we are and understanding that Darius Jackson, Shaq Van, we got to make sure they continue to get their touches, and even in those quarters, second and third, when we're just trying to continue to move forward, some of our biggest chunk yardage plays were run plays, and so just stayed within ourselves and let the game come to Brogan, and again, he had a good completion percentage, and guys are catching the ball for the most part really well. And so we just wanted to stay within ourselves and not try to do too much. There isn't 14-point touchdowns out there, so in order to get 14, you got to score 7 first. And I thought in the second quarter or first quarter, and early the second, we did a really good job of doing that.
Can you give us a number of how many trick plays you have left up your sleeve?
We just over the years, you kind of gather a log of, and they might from one school to the next be called something different, but they're all there. I've been wanting to run that one for quite a few years, and got a great, got some guys that can execute it. That's the biggest thing, and you have players who can catch it and throw it, and Cody's played quarterback back in the day. Now it's no secret he can throw it, so you might as well talk about it, right? And he made a great throw to Sam, and it's a lot of fun when you got guys that are very talented in a lot of different ways.
All right, with the exception of Iowa State, no one has put up 2 scores on Toledo. How will you go into the game and change that?
Right. No, that's a challenge, and we talked Sunday night, and we're excited about it. We feel over the course of all the teams that we've played, we've done as well offensively against those opponents that anyone has. Even like LSU and Akron. Really, Oklahoma was the only other team that really had more output or production than we had, and so we feel good about where we're at, and we want to be. We're going to be better than that. That's the goal, and we're going to respect who they are because they're very, very good. Got 8 seniors and 3 juniors in the starting lineup, and just really disciplined on their gaps and physical and tackle well and all of that. But we're also going to have confidence in who we are, and just respect who they are and play our game. And prepare well is a big deal for us throughout the course of the week in playing well, especially coming out in the first quarter and setting the tone and getting into our rhythm. That's a big deal for us.
And then last week you noted Browning, he came in right at the fall camp, and now he's adjusted the offense. How big is it to have now 2 reliable tight ends?
It is. It's really good and helpful for us. Allows us to get into more formations. We were, anything from empty to 2 tight ends, pretty much stacked on top of each other in the course of the game last Saturday. I think that gets tough for defenses to attack when you can do those things. So as they continue to grow and we're midway through the season now, it's a lot of fun knowing that, they understand the core and the foundation of our offense, and now we can do the little variations and tweaks to make defenses have to cover some different ways.
Hey, Coach McCaslin. How do you prep for the defense? They have the rushing duo of Kareem Hunt and Swanson. How do you prep for that?
Well, the thing that you have to do is you just have to start first with what you're going to do, and how does your system fit against what they're trying to accomplish, and then making sure it's a moving puzzle. When the ball snaps, it's a moving puzzle, and so you've got to fit all of your pieces into the right spots, and so that starts with preparing and practicing with eye discipline, and then making sure that you follow through with execution, and then when you're doing your job and fit into the space or slot that you're supposed to fit into, then the next guy can do his, the next guy can do his, and then things can work out.
And then Philip Eli for Toledo, he's an experienced quarterback coming from Alabama, but he's had his fair amount of mistakes this year. I think he's thrown 4 interceptions. How do you capitalize on that?
Yeah, you've got to, when the ball's in the air, you've got to have the confidence to go up and make the play. But there's a second piece to that. You've got to get pressure on the quarterback to potentially make him put the ball not as accurate as he'd like to. And so we've got to have a balance of pressure and put him in some situations where we can anticipate them needing or wanting to throw the football. Get on an edge when you're pass rushing, get to the face of the quarterback, and then force a less accurate pass, and then take advantage of it. So.
And then Eli too. He hasn't been sacked this year. How do you break the O-line and get to the quarterback?
The challenge of nevers is a great challenge. LSU had never turned the ball over, So that's Coach DeBoer has been speaking about that in terms of offensive production. That's a fantastic challenge to have, and it's a great way to open a meeting. They've never done this, and so I like that. that sits there, and I know that our guys would be very hungry to capitalize on that.
Going back to Akron, talk about the defensive backs, because they seem to have a really good position, but Akron's wide receivers were just making spectacular catch after spectacular catch, primarily Jerome Lane. Just talk about that.
Yeah, he went up and made some good plays. When a ball's up high like that, the term we use is high pointing a ball. And I think in 2 of those situations, we maybe even had a hand on the ball, and his strength came down with it. And so when you're coaching that, you coach playing through the ball or the hand of the receiver with violence. With you gotta be strong when you do that and try to break the ball loose. And so you drill that, you practice that, and then you're tested by someone who's really determined to make that play, and it's going to come down to who's more determined.
Coach, eBay returns last week, and it had to be good. He didn't start the opening drive, but just having him back on the field had to be a nice sign in his recovery process. We know it was day-to-day, but you talk about a guy like that ranks 4th nationally in tackles.
Yeah, he didn't start because we wanted to see how he didn't practice the entire week. He practiced during the course of the week and was kind of touch and go. Just wanted to see how he'd go through warm-ups and then when he got in there, how he would respond. We were prepared for Nate Adams to go right back in if it didn't look good for eBay, and he felt good and then produced a fair amount as well. Statistically, I think he led us in tackles. But what he brings to the table beyond playmaking ability is a leadership, a confidence, an ability to communicate and align people, and that has a value beyond making plays for us right now.
You look at your tackles for loss numbers; they continue to be up there the last couple of weeks. And Luke McLean, I think it was that first drive of the game, has the sack that he gets on the intentional grounding. Those kind of plays certainly have to inspire you guys a little bit, just knowing they're able to we're driving Akron back at points.
Yeah, we had some near misses or near gets, however you want to call it, against them on some pressure on the quarterback, and or even some tackles in the backfield on some runs. And I think that they slipped away a couple of times, or they ran through maybe an arm tackle, a less physical tackle that we had an opportunity to make, and got out of some of those. We've got to finish. We've absolutely got to finish. And so Coach Keene talks about this all the time in practice. You have to strain in practice. You've got to, when we talk about it defensively, you've got to exaggerate your technique. You've got to work harder in practice to do the things that are going to happen on Saturday, because they are going to be more difficult to achieve on Saturday.
And then for both you and Coach Creighton, it's got to be tough right now knowing that the turnover battle has kind of gone the other way the last 2 weeks, 6-1 the other way. Is there a way to draw up to maybe try getting more takeaways and or limiting the turnovers on the offensive side of the ball?
Defensively, for our part on that, we have to get multiple people to the football, multiple people at the point of attack. That's where turnovers can occur, especially against the run game. When teams are lining up and wanting to run the ball against us as much as they are, we've got to get 2, 3, and 4 guys to the football, because that's where you have an opportunity to dislodge it for a ball to come out. It's not going to typically happen on a single guy making a tackle. When the ball's in the air, it's a different situation again, and I think we've just got to be assignment sound to put the pressure on the quarterback to allow that to happen from a defensive perspective.
Yeah, turnovers are really interesting, and I think one of the things about this year is that when we're in sync offensively and playing well, we're not turning the ball over much. You've got D-Jack going in into the end zone. Was that Army? That there's going to be some freak situations with helmets hitting the ball, and it comes out. Those are going to be really rare. Our turnovers have come, through the air, and really when we are, behind into the game, trying to make plays and coming back, and not just, running our offense. And So we want to stay out of those situations, and then defensively, when we can disrupt people's rhythm, the guy's throwing off of his back foot. He's getting hit while he's throwing it. We get the interception at LSU. When you're getting hit by multiple people and from the backside, that's really when, the takeaways are going to happen. And so, we've just been, on the wrong end of that, most of the time. It's not, our guys want to take the ball away. Our guys, want to take care of the ball. We work at it. I also know this, that things like that can turn, and they can come in bunches, even when you're, I want to say least expecting it or whatnot. So we will, continue to emphasize it and believe that it's going to turn.
And then just the final point, you talked about it on your press conference on Saturday, and you touched a little bit here, just trying to get everybody on the same page. And you've got 29 new faces this year. You're top 10 in the amount of freshmen and newcomers played in the country. How difficult is it still, and I know people lose track on it, you're only a year and a half in, but to get everybody on that same page?
Yeah, we think that's one of the things that's going really well. It really is. I mean, it's hard on Saturday afternoons, especially other than really Saturday. The games have been games that we're in and competing and have chances to win. And again, we believe we should have won a lot of those games. So it's a very different disappointment, on the Saturdays than it was a year ago. And our guys know that we're getting better. They know that we're getting better off the field. They know they're getting better in the strength and conditioning. They know that we're improving our practice. I mean, our family, our goals and our expectations, our standards. I mean, all of those things. We have a ways to go still, but that's okay. But we're being on the same page is, would be something that'd be a strength right now. Especially with so many new guys. I think that's gone well. So yeah, it's. Again, we have press conferences after the games, and and those have been some disappointing times. But yeah, we're all frustrated, by not winning. I mean, that's just that goes without saying. But we're also undeterred, with knowing the big picture, and even in the minutia of it, of where we are right now. That about we're going to get where we're going.
Good if you are.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. You.